Hello, I'm Chris. Welcome to my reading corner. I thought I would do a video today, just a quick Friday reads. I want to try and get the consistency of posting at least once a week. I mean, it might be a bit of pressure after what I've been through and what I spoke about in my last video, but I feel like I want to get that consistency. So I enjoy doing it, so I just want to keep that consistency, and then that way I can push forward and post videos, and because I find it's a good outlet to talk about books and start a conversation on this channel. Before I go into my Friday reads and my weekend reads, I just want to just ask a few things really. I just wonder what everyone else is reading. Is anyone reading anything good? Also, does anyone have any suggestions? I've had a few ideas rolling around in my head, like maybe top 10 books or top 10 authors, which I think, quite interestingly, I'm not sure if I did both if I did both videos, I don't think there'd be much crossover, because although I might have a favourite book by an author, it might be the only one I've enjoyed, or it might be I've enjoyed a couple of others, but that's my favourite. But then he wouldn't necessarily be, or she might not necessarily be my favourite author. That's an idea I was thinking of doing, or maybe a bookshelf tour. I don't know. I'm very much open to suggestions, or like genre deep dives of what I've got. Like I've got quite a lot of horror, like Stephen King, Sean Hudson, James Herbert, Richard Layman as well, and then also I've got the Red Spine classics, and I've got some fantasy, and I've got quite a mixture of stuff. I don't know, maybe a deep dive into that. I don't know. I'm just open to suggestions. I mean, I would love to do either a podcast or start a discussion on, or do a live stream with somebody if anybody's interested, who wants to talk about books. I'm not saying I'm the most intelligent guy, because I know I'm not, and I don't want to be the most intelligent guy, because if I was, then I can't then learn more. So I'm open to learning. I'm open to having a discussion with somebody. So I am looking for more ideas. I want to grow this channel. I mean, I don't want like crazy growth. I don't want to be like thousands of subscribers. I want it to be quite small, but it's more grow the conversation than actually grow the channel. I don't want to, I just want to keep it quite small, but like have good conversation with a lot of people. But so if anybody fancies doing a live stream, or because I'd love to do something like that, or a podcast. I mean, I'd love to do a podcast face to face if possible. I mean, I'm in England, and that's something I'd definitely be up for. It's been something I've been watching a lot of. How I Write, which I find really good podcast, and also Life on Books as well is another good one. Just two bald bearded guys like me, so I'm like, why have I not got another bald bearded guy to talk books with, kind of thing. And so but it doesn't have to necessarily be a guy. It doesn't have to, you don't necessarily have to have a beard either. That was just a joke. But it could be a woman. I'm not like, I don't mind. I mean, if it's a woman, then that's good, because it's very more varying opinions than, straight white male. It's like, I want to open the conversation. I don't want to, I want to learn from the conversation as well. I don't want to come with this is how it is, and then not find more out about it. Or I want to push the envelope of my knowledge, and if there's something I've read and I'm like, oh, I see it like that, because I read The Wasp Factory, and this book, I was like, I enjoy that, but then I watched a few videos, and I thought something completely different about that book, than what other people said, and I found that interesting that I had a different opinion. So to talk about that with somebody else, like I say, it doesn't matter who. I mean, I would prefer face to face because I think, that's better. But I mean, I'm happy to do it on a stream, like I say, because it's just opening that conversation up, and I feel like it's a good way to find out, get other opinions, because I don't really have a lot of people to talk about books with outside of this, really, because I'd say I read I don't want to say I read widely, because I don't want to presume that I do, but I do find like certain people I talk to don't either read now and again or only read certain books. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I envy that, because I'm like, if I only read crime, imagine how many crime books I could have read by now. If I only read sci-fi, imagine how many sci-fi books I've read. If I only read fantasy, imagine how many series that I could have read by now. But I'm dipping my toe everywhere, that I find it then that I'm like, well, I've not read that, I want to read that, I want to read that, I want to read that. I can't read everything, as much as I try, and I've had a really good reading year this year, and I'm aiming for 150 books by the end of the year. That's the most I've read. I'm aiming to surpass that next year as well. I want to see that number grow. I don't want to see it grow stupid, so it's like it becomes like 300-400 books, and then it's literally like I'm just reading constantly. I want to try and so it's quality as well as quantity, and a good number of books, because obviously I've got this 200 book challenge, so I've read about 5 books on that so far. So it would be good to, because I've got a lot of library books. I've got like 17 library books out at the minute. So I want to reduce that down by the end of I want to finish all the library books, take them all back on the 31st of December, or a couple of days before or whatever, and then next year literally just do the challenge in a year. That's what I want to do. So because I've always wanted to get to a stage where I don't have any unread books, so that's a good challenge. But I wouldn't mind doing a book club as well. I know that was a bit of a tangent, but like I'm just thinking about ideas for the channel. Like I'd like to do a book club, if that's something anybody's interested in as well. I don't know. I just want to open the conversation wider than what it is now. Than me just me looking at a camera, It'd be good to do a book club or a buddy read, or I'm just massively open to suggestions of ideas, and I'm not saying, oh, it's a book club, we have to read a book I've got. If I don't have the book, then I'll have to beg, borrow, steal, but not buy the book, apparently. But if it's at the library, or if I know somebody who's got a copy of it and I can borrow it, or I'm happy to jump in like that. I'm just really open. I just really want to, I don't know, spread my wings, so to speak. Like I want to be able to say, to grow this conversation, and just have more conversations about books, really. And I don't know. I don't know if anybody wants to do a buddy read, or wants to do a live stream, or just drop a comment down below, and we'll sort something out. There's obviously no pressure if you don't feel comfortable doing that, or you don't want to do that, or you are in England but you don't want to do face to face. I get that completely as well. It'd just be good to reach out a bit more and talk more about books. And I don't know, I just always feel envious when I see live streams and podcasts, and I just think it'd be good to talk more, and it's just something I've been thinking about a lot anyway, recently. But it's hard to, cause I'm not struggling for ideas, because I kind of didn't want to do I've only got so many subscribers, and I'm happy with the subscribers I've got. I'm not trying to get more subscribers. That's why I didn't go top 10 Stephen King reads, or, you know, stuff that'll just hit, that'll just, that's what people look for. I wanted to keep it quite, I wanted it to just grow naturally. It was never about, I was happy with one subscriber, you know, and I never say subscribe because, you know, you vote with your feet. You're either going to subscribe or you're not. And if you're not going to subscribe, then me telling you is not going to make you subscribe. So I won't say it. I mean, I asked you to comment because I think it starts conversation. But it's. I want to build that conversation. Like, I've always fancied joining a book club, but I think I'd rather do something, rather than do something online, you know, do something face to face, do something a bit more, you know, across a few places. You know, if we can get people from different places getting involved, then that's great. You know, I just want to build this conversation really. I don't know. I've been off this for so long, and I just feel refreshed, and I feel ready to go, and I'm ready to talk about books. And I mean, I'm reading a lot. I'm not saying, like I say, I'm not going to say I read widely, but I do feel like I dip my toe in a few more places than some people do. But that's not necessary. But I don't judge anybody who read. I don't judge anybody who reads what they want to read, because if you're not reading what you want to read, then what you're reading for, you know? I mean, I feel like I've picked up a lot of library books lately and gone, well, that sounds interesting. You know, or somebody's mentioned something. Oh, my library's got that. I'll read that. I mean, although I've got all these library books out, it doesn't necessarily mean, oh yeah, I'm going to read them all. I might take them back and go, actually, that's not for me. Like, I took one back last night. The Shipping News by Annie Proulx. I'm not sure how you pronounce the last name. I think she wrote Brokeback Mountain as well, I think. I enjoy it. I've read the book before, so I thought, and somebody had it reserved, so I was like, well, it's daft me holding on to it, because it's not going to be my priority if I've already read it, and if somebody wants to read it more than I do, because I've already read it, I took it back. But it's not, but it's one book I want to reread, so, like, that is a book I'll probably get out down the line to reread, you know. And before my book ban, when my son gave me, book buying ban that my son gave me, I bought Handmaid's Tale, which is a book I've read before as well. So, you know, it's just, I want to try and learn more about what I'm reading, and also see things from a different perspective. Like, one of my favourite books is excuse me, one of my favourite books is like Fahrenheit 451, so it'd be interesting to see somebody else's, you know, point of view on that. And I also like 1984, and I like, you know, The Road, The Stand, so it'd be interesting to get a few, you know, a few different inputs on that, and a few different opinions. And, you know, I don't really know if there's any other way of doing, like, getting other people involved in discussions other than YouTube. I know people mention Discord, but it's not something I've ever used, so that might be something I'll look into if I get enough people who want to get involved with the conversation and want to talk about books. And with me, obviously, I mean, we probably all want to talk about books, but, like, if anybody wants to start a conversation with me, that's what I'm looking to. I'm looking to grow that rather than the channel, and also like I say, I'm after suggestions for videos, because the last thing I really wanted was to, like, I don't know, like I said before, I never wanted to go top 10 authors and get, you know, top 10 books and just click fodder, you know. I don't want to be like that. I want it to be just let my channel grow naturally as it does. or if it doesn't. I'm doing this to talk about books and, like I say, start a conversation. So it was never about the size of growth. But anyway, I'm going to leave that there because I've gone on enough about that, and I just wonder what people thought, because it'd be interesting to get, like, you know, is Discord a good idea? Is a live stream a good idea if somebody's interested in doing a live stream and talking about a certain genre of books or a certain author, or, you know, or where you go book shopping, or maybe a Q&A. I genuinely don't know. I'm wanting to make this more of an open forum, more of an open discussion. That's what I'm after anyway. But yeah, like I'd happily do a Q&A. If that's something people are interested in, and top 10 books and top 10 authors I've thought about. I've kind of compiled. I've not quite got the top 10 books, but the authors I've got a list of authors ready to go, so that could be an option. I'd probably do top 10 authors and then my favourite book by that author as well, on the same video. But anyway, if anyone has any comments or anything, or if you're interested or not interested or whatever you're reading, just drop them down below, and I'll get back in touch with you, and we can start more of a conversation, hopefully. So that being said, I'm going to get on with my weekend reads. This is what I plan on reading this weekend. This is what I want to. These are the books I want to start and finish, or at least start. So I'm going to go through them now. I was reading Essential Chomsky. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but I was reading that. I'm still reading that. I plan on reading a bit more of that in the morning. I'm not sure how long the chapter is, whether it's a big one or a short one. It sort of varies, so I'm hoping it's a short one and it's quite snappy, because I fancy reading that tomorrow. I'm also reading The Cruel Sea, but I've put that down for a bit because I just felt like I was in a bit of a reading slump. I remember the story, and I can pick it back up, and I plan on picking it back up. It was just, I wanted to pick something up where I felt like I'll read it and I'll get through, say, 100 pages, 50 pages, 150 or 200 pages, like, without, you know, to get myself back in that mode of reading, because I just felt like I'd lost it with The Cruel Sea. So I decided to start Sonic Youth Slept on My Floor by Dave Aslam. I find this really interesting. I mean, it's all about the Hacienda, Manchester, Happy Mondays, The Smiths, Oasis is in here, Sonic Youth obviously, Joy Division's in here as well. But it's just really interesting. He was like a DJ, and he also had his own fanzine and did a bit of interviewing bands and stuff. But I think, I'll just check what I'm up to. Yeah, I think I'm about 250 pages in, and I think I only started it a couple of nights ago. So I just felt like I needed something. I don't know, I was just floundering a bit with The Cruel Sea, and just felt like I needed to read, and I wasn't reading. I was reading, but I just felt like it was taking me a long time to get through a chapter. But it's in chapters, but it's kind of in parts, so the parts seem really long. So just picking this up, it was like, I didn't expect to read as much as I have, and like I said, I think I've got 100 pages left, so I'm hoping to finish that tonight. I'm also currently reading Charles Bukowski, Tales of Ordinary Madness. I've slightly over 100 pages left in this, but this is short stories, so I'd probably try and read a few stories after I finish Sonic Youth Slept on My Floor. My next story is a quiet conversation piece, but I'll probably try and read 2 or 3 stories, so I'll probably try and read A Quiet Conversational Piece, Beer, Poets and Talk, I Shot a Man in Reno, and maybe A Reign of Women as well. Just a few stories to. I want to finish this by the end of the month because I want to read South of No North next, and then Hot Water Music for the end of the year. Now, South of No North I've read before, Hot Water Music I haven't, so that can go on my 200 books, or only 194 to go with that one. Because obviously all these library books don't count apparently. I fancy starting this, another short story collection, because I thought, well, if I read a short story every time I finish a book, I could work my way through this. This is a collection of stories from the author of Terminal Boredom. I've not read that, or no, I don't know what that's about. I'm not sure I got recommended this, but this is Hit Parade of Tears by Izumi Suzuki. I'm not sure on the Japanese names which order they are, whether that's first and second, or which order it should be, but it sounds quite interesting. It's Izumi Suzuki has ideas about doing things differently, ideas that paid little attention to the laws of physics or the laws of the land. In this new collection, her skewed imagination distorts, enhances some of the classic concepts of science fiction and fantasy. A philandering husband receives a bestial punishment from a wife with her own secrets to keep. A music lover finds herself in a timeline both familiar and as wrong as can be. A misfit band of space pirates discover a mysterious baby among the stars. Emma the Bouverie-like character from one of Suzuki's stories in Terminal Boredom lands herself in a bizarre romantic pickle. Rarely anarchic, I'm not sure, anarchy basically, but I'm not sure how you pronounce that, and deeply imaginative. Suzuki was a writer like no other. These 11 stories offer readers the opportunity to delve deeper into this singular writer's work. There's like 11 stories here, so I just thought the first story is My Guy, which is about 24 pages, so I thought, well, that, as a bit of a palate cleanser. I do want to try and get back onto The Cruel Sea, but I think I might try and read some of that as well this weekend, because if I can read like a part of that, I think it's about 50 pages in the next part, and I think I've got about 150 in that. I want to try and reduce that. I also want to read A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. Now, the reason I wanted to read this was because I've been listening to a lot of Ian Brown, like I've said a few times lately, and I've been listening to him today, and he's in Harry Potter 1, in the Leaky Cauldron, and he's sat and he's stirring a brew like that, and you see the spoon going round, and he's reading this book, and I was like, and I kind of thought, well, I might be wrong, I might just be presuming this, but I presumed if he was reading this, did he pick this book, or was he? I presumed he'd picked this book and he was reading this book because he's read it before. I don't know. That's the impression I got, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just thought, well, I wonder what it's all about. So I fancied reading this. So I thought that'd be interesting. Although I won't have the cup with the spoon that stirs. I also fancy reading Truman Capote's Summer Crossing. I do have In Cold Blood that I own, that I would want to read, but I just saw this and I was interested in it, and it says, Flame-haired Grady McNeil is beautiful, rich and defiant. Her privileged society life leaves her wanting more than her conventional parents have in mind for her, and excitement comes in the form of the highly unsuitable Clyde, a Brooklyn-born Jewish parking attendant. When Grady's mother and father leave her alone one summer in their New York penthouse, her secret affair intensifies and she is forced to make decisions that will alter her future indelibly. Anticipating Holly Golightly with its free-spirited heroine, Truman Capote's recently discovered debut novel is also a captivating portrayal of first love. So I just thought that sounded interesting. Like, I do want to read In Cold Blood, and he also did Breakfast at Tiffany's as well, which I want to read as well. Yeah, those are the other two I want to read. I just saw this and I thought it was only thin, so I do fancy reading this. But I'm not sure which I'll read first out of these two. I'm swaying more towards A Brief History of Time, but I think my plan's going to be finish this tonight, wake up in the morning, read some Noam Chomsky, and then after reading something so intellectual, I'm going to go for a bit of Bukowski. I find Bukowski, I like Bukowski. I'm not sure many people do, but I like him because I'm not necessarily like, I don't know, I just like his writing because I feel it's so concise and it's so straight to the point, and it doesn't meander. But I don't necessarily agree with some of the stuff he talks about. So, and then I fancy reading a short story in here to see what this is like. And then maybe I'll read some of that then, I think. Or I might carry on with try and read some more Cruel Sea, but I think I'll probably just focus on these two and then finish the Cruel Sea then once I get those out of the way. Oh, and lastly, I'm also still reading James and the Giant Peach. I've got my son this weekend, so I'm hoping we'll make more. We'll read more of that this weekend, which should be good because I'm enjoying that, and I love reading stories to him, so that's good. Anyway, that's just a quick video. I say a quick video, it's nearly half an hour, but it wasn't as long as the other night. So last Friday, like I say, I think if I've got like more of an idea what I'm doing next Friday, rather than a bit of a rambling video, it will be shorter, more concise. But I just wanted to keep it consistent and post again, so that's why I've done it. But anyway, I'll speak to you soon. I hope you're all okay and you're reading good things and you're enjoying what you're reading. Bye.